But we've got Viper playing as the Poles in the yellow, and he's in the north of the map, and already placing the houses next to the TC. I kind of like that. And then you've got Velez playing as the Aztecs, Hera. So what are your thoughts on the whole matchup here?
First of all, it's great to be here. Thank you for the kind words earlier. And yeah, I mean, first of all, Viper with the Poles and the houses near the TC is something I love to see. Aztecs Poles, this is a matchup where I feel like Aztecs almost have to pressure early.
Yeah.
I always say this, but Poles might just be the best civ in the game if they go untouched and they're allowed to set up their economy pretty much.
Okay, yeah. And I mean, already you can see this is an arena, right? This is Arabia. There's potential for stuff like this. Velez being aggressive and using the power of the eagle early. I could have actually stolen a boar as well, had he seen that.
He could go back for them as well, right?
Yeah.
Like he just saw one with the sheep. It's a bit risky to steal one of those, but he could try to. Decides to just go back for the time being.
Viper actually being pretty lamey as well. Like, he went forward with his scout very early here, and he's just coming back now. So he might actually, typical Viper things. I don't even know if he's looking for it, but he's probably going to find his sheep. And then he also, has got to make sure he doesn't lose something else. But yeah, Hera, I personally feel like Aztecs are just like, they're at least top 3 on Arabia. Like, they're amazing. If you play to their full potential, Man-at-Arms, one range, and then really in Castle Age, they can snowball well against anything. So Viper picking Poles here, he's going to have to work harder, I think, to get a victory than Velez will.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it just comes down to how the early game plays out. And I think that both players will put a heavy emphasis on the early game because, of course, with the Poles, you want to farm around your mill. But look where Viper's mill is. It's on the front. It's next to a massive hill. It gets really nasty here if Velez gets control of that. So early game will be incredibly important in this matchup here.
Yeah, this version of Arabia has, I would say that the secondary resources can be a bit more vulnerable in the long term. Overall, I think Velez's map is still really good, though. His main gold's on the back, his berries on the back, and then his stone, and then the 4 tiles to the south are just incredible. And the only thing that's really vulnerable for him would be the 4 tile to the left. Whereas for Viper, you've got both of his 4 tile golds to that right side on that hill. So if he doesn't have map control this game, it'll be rough. But at the same time, if he controls that hill, the neutral gold's not that far away either. So that should be pretty nice.
That's a good point. I like that you mentioned that because hills are really a double-edged sword. Like, if you're on the bottom of it, obviously it sucks. But if you get control of it, then all of a sudden your map looks completely different here. So I'm glad you mentioned that. It's going to really come down to who gets the initiative and who wins that early game. I just want to say, I really hope Velez doesn't get lazy and actually walls off that left side. He leaves his main or his secondary gold maybe a little outside or a little bit exposed, but he will defend the bulk of his map there. So I hope he commits to that at some point.
Yeah, and I feel like if you're going to wall, like with Aztecs, it's one or two things. You either go that Eagle's active on the front all the time, and you're opening up heavily with militia into Man-at-Arms and being aggressive, or it's the complete opposite, and you're just walling as early as you can because you can't make scouts like the Poles can here.
Yeah, absolutely true. We are seeing Viper starting to wall a little bit as well, trying to set them up a little bit. He does have a nice main gold to the back at least, so we did talk about some of the secondary gold weaknesses, but at least early game his gold will be pretty safe. He also has a couple of woodlands to play with, and he's pulling in some deer. Velez now clicking Loom, maybe a 21 click here for him.
Yeah, and I think the other thing to mention as far as the maps are concerned is Poles, you kind of need to bank on having a better map than Aztecs, right? Aztecs are better at playing more open maps. Granted, they do tend to incorporate some level of walling, but if you want safe farms around Fullworks and you want to just mine stone freely to get some gold and whatever else, like, you just need safety, and that's why maybe picking Poles, I think he picked it first on his draft, it just stands out as slightly questionable for me. But then again, it's Viper. And I literally said the same stuff. I was like, ooh, Hera picking Khmer that early in the draft? Like, oh, Khmer. And then it's like, okay, I understand it now.
Yeah, the thing with those civs is that it has to do a lot with comfort, I think. Like, you're playing a 3-game series. It's a group stage. I think playing comfort picks and just civs that are, like, super consistent is a really big factor. So that might be part of the reason why you see some of these civs being picked early. But hold on. Velez is actually going forward here, trying to punish the forward berries here, maybe.
Well, I mean, you've got stone, right? That brings in Polish advantages, and then you've got the full work right there on the front. And I know that this might not be something that, like, you would love to do these days, right? But, like, I think it's kind of underrated. Even just a forward range, to just pressure this area could be decent. Maybe a tower, wall it up, run home. You don't necessarily need to commit to this for the long run. And Viper sees this. And Viper's going to open archer range, which was already part of his plans. He wasn't planning on going scouts, which I think is important to mention. And a couple quick walls here. Militia are currently walled out. And range is going up for Velez on the hill. Okay.
Now, the important thing to note here is that Velez is almost guaranteed to be forced into skirmishes here. Oh, he breaks in, actually. That's interesting.
Uh-oh.
But Viper might be... Oh, okay. He'll break out. It's fine.
Oh, Viper, you didn't have to... Dude, that's just classic Viper. Like, he could have... Oh, he deleted his range.
Oh, my God. What?
He's dead.
Wait. He just threw the game because he tried to get too fancy.
Yeah.
That villager's dead now?
Yeah, this is like all your 950 ELO coaching sessions, Hera.
This is what I tell everyone not to do. Come on. Well, I'm glad Viper's proven the reason why we don't want to see this.
Oh my God. I mean, we've seen some Viper comebacks. This is bad, right? The Man-at-Arms and the Eagles in. He not only has to deleted his range and had to rebuild one, which is costly, but that delayed the archer production. So Velez also sees it too, so he's got his confidence boosted. And then Aztecs are just so good on the back of, you know, not taking any damage at home. And Viper's going to run out with Vils now.
Ooh, he does have a chance to wall these guys in. We see one archer coming out, and I think the Viper got the wall off, but maybe Velez can squeeze out of here. He does have the house he can delete at any point as well.
Yeah. The Viper won't have any stone access to make more towers. His food eco is a big concern. Like, towering someone's berries, as Viper does kill a Vil. He's also going to lose his archer on the right side. Oh my goodness, this is a really sloppy game right now. But yeah, I mean, I don't think Viper's going to be able to create villagers for very long here, Hera. He does 0 farms, and he's got 0 on berries for the time being.
Yeah, this is an absolute disaster. He did a good job trying to stabilize. Like, he did deny that tower, which is not the worst. But the problem for him now is that look at the Poles eco. 0 farms. And so why are we picking Poles on Arabia here?
Yep.
And it does get put into question. Obviously, we would be saying completely different things if Velez didn't punish that forward berries, of course. So it's more credit to Velez here than anything, and he continues to pressure that gold as well.
This might be an extreme statement, but I think Velez could get away with killing 0 villagers from here on out, and provided his economy at home is clean. And it's not the craziest ever, but it looks clean enough. He should maybe ease his way to a faster castle age. But I mean, all that said, you do have 3 forward villagers that are weak taking a deer. They could all die, and Viper can recover quite nicely with the poles with his farming eco. So I guess we'll just have to see. But this isn't really the meta game that maybe we're expecting from these two. Like, Velez never goes forward, always plays militia 1 range wall. Viper crazy quick wall defense. That didn't happen either. So just crazy here.
And that's the thing, like, Velez doesn't go forward until he does. That's what's good about building a reputation as a player, is that you're ready to tear down that reputation to get an advantage or to surprise your opponent at any point. So
yeah,
gotta love that mix up there from Velez. By the way, does he take, like, he's taking stone now for extra towers? Is that a good play here, or should he just abandon? It's a big question that he's got to ask himself here.
Yeah, I mean, if this was 2015, that stone goes into full stonewall right now, and then he just goes for Castle H. You know, like, there's no... I actually wouldn't even hate that. Just stonewalling the left side. His eco at home is still very sloppy, I'm noticing. I think for Velez, I know I'd said in the past that, you know, if he doesn't end up killing more, it wouldn't be a concern for him. But he's certainly putting a ton of focus onto the micro. And his macro is a little sloppy. Like, the 4 villagers underneath the TC, berry villagers, there's just a lot of vills not working right now.
He's back at the front with some archers, though, and look at Viper trying to secure that main stone. Remember, pole vills do regenerate here, so Viper's running away with some weak vills. He'll get them healed up eventually. But it's just messy at Viper's side as well. You mentioned Velez's economy, but look at that berry bush.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. And then he's taking Viper's gold right now. Like, it's like they're allies. I mean, that
power that soon, though.
I guess, yeah, I was gonna say, I guess he can't really escape easily, so that's why he's done that. But I really think that stone could have been used for a tower, because now Viper's got his considerable ranged mass in the back, and he'll clear up the man-at-arms, and he'll definitely clear up the archers. And yeah, those 3 villagers are dead.
And this is this is where things get dicey. Velez had a lot of chances to kind of run away with those villas, make a tower, kind of stabilized in the back of Viper's base if he wanted to. He chose not to. He's focusing his energy elsewhere and his focus elsewhere, and he might lose 3 villas because of that here. So Viper might start the comeback as he gets some of his farms down as well here.
Did you happen to see any of Viper versus Sebastian game 1?
I casted that whole series. I
oh,
loved
you
that
did?
series.
Okay.
And I was mad at Sebastian for throwing that game 1.
Dude, the sad thing is that not only did he lose that, but then he lost 3-0, and then the next series was 3-0. And poor Sebastian, like, he was so close to winning that game versus Viper. But I just brought it up because I do think Sebastian should have won that game. But it is an example of if you give a player like Viper, and you could attach this to any of the pros, just any ounce of freedom later on in a game, that they're going to be able to bring it back. And so that's why I'm looking at the Eco KD right now, looking at the fact that Viper's got some farms going up around full works. And now Viper also has a 14-6 KD with good range units. And I'm just thinking, like, maybe there's actually a chance for Viper here. Would be pretty crazy.
He's also on stone, right? So, like, all of the pose bonuses are now starting to kick in. So it was looking questionable earlier. Now they're kicking in, and now it's looking a little even dicey for Velez as he's getting chased away with the skirmishers. It's going to be an interesting transition here towards Castle Age because Velez, in theory, should get there first. He's got more food in the bank. And Eagles are a very scary unit as Castle Age is coming in.
This is also something that just dawned on me. This is actually a rematch of the semifinal from the first season of Titans League, where Velez won 4-2 versus Viper. And he was fairly aggressive against Viper there. Because, like, Viper, especially, I think, in the early stages of a series, he doesn't go for the real aggressive stuff. He, like, eases his way into it, more defensive, and pull out the more aggressive stops later on. And so if there was a vulnerability for Viper, maybe it's that first game, you know? But yeah, certainly Velez has shown in the past that he could beat Viper is kind of my point there. And he's pretty close to clicking up to Castle Age. And I think more often than not, you're just going to see a player in Velez's position try and hold and then go into the Eagles and Monks in Castle Age.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the good thing here for Velez is that he's maintaining the map control with his units. It's not like he's just backing up and giving the map all the way back for Viper. He's really trying to stay on that hill or stay around Viper. And right away, he's actually forced another tower from Viper on those berries, on those farms where the berries used to be. And it's just a little bit of harassment that really goes a long way here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the key for Viper next is, like, how are you going to deal with any Eagles? That will not be news to Viper, that it's going to be Eagles. Then again, we still see plenty of archers for Velez. But, I mean, I would like to see Viper wall up a little bit on that left side. I don't know about a full wall to the edge of the map, but between the wood lines feels like an obvious wall while you're waiting to go to Castle Age. You want all that pressure that's coming in from your opponent to funnel into your towers in the front. And finally, Viper moves out. I mean, look at Viper scouting. I'm pretty sure people could have assumed this, but he doesn't even know where Velez's base is. He just hasn't really been there this game.
Another advantage of the forward, by the way, so it's like it's quite underrated actually. Definitely, if you surprise your opponent with it, it gets you in a pretty good position more often than not.
Well, hey man, I mean, it's right now. Granted, gold isn't finished yet either, but Vivi's been on a tear. So maybe it'll be season 3, Vivi Hera in the same group, and Vivi's gonna take us back to 2017 forward days.
Freaking Vivi, man, he used to terrorize me every tournament. This guy was crazy with it.
Yeah.
I actually like to see the forward and the towers and the messy stuff come back to the meta because I'm a different player than 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I hated it.
Yeah.
These days, I think it's fun. It adds that extra layer to Feudal Age. But yeah, me especially, but really everyone was getting terrorized by Vivi's
I know.
at some point.
Yeah, everybody was. Yeah, we talked about it a lot back then too.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, I think we could see it shift back. I think the beautiful thing of it is, as Velez is going to have an interesting window to dive here before Viper has a lot of knights. The interesting part is it might not be considered optimal play, but it makes it really hard to play the game for the opponent.
Yes.
Right? And so, like,
Absolutely.
for Viper right now, he's not in these situations a lot. He's in full adaptation mode, which obviously he can do, but this is not a situation that he's in that frequently.
I hate that town center from Viper at the back.
It brings me pain as well. I agree.
Dude, I think I understand the logic to protect the wood, but also protect the farms and the gold. but I think I'd much rather on the right hand side or something along those lines on a second wood line.
Yep, second wood line.
Yeah.
He is tracking some of the Eagles and Archers. He's also doing something that much earlier than what other players will do, and he's just going to try and get a knight forward to counterattack. He doesn't want to react the whole time, and Velez sees it, man. That reaction time was sick. So well played.
Yeah. And he's got the one monk randomly as well. I don't know if he wanted to get relics or something, but that one monk will defend that really easily. So well played to Velez there, and he will continue pushing, diving into the Eagles, actually.
Yeah, putting Viper under pressure. Viper loses a villager there. Could lose more on his gold. And this is beautiful play. You even have the 3 archers on the wood line at the same time. So Viper
so good.
had to react in so many different areas. That was clinical stuff from Velez. I love that.
Yeah. He did so many things at once. He defended, got the archers on the wood line. Now the Eagles are getting a lot of value, and he's gonna keep those Eagles alive. He's not gonna lose those. Look at that. He's gonna run array and just run around forever, pretty much. Viper has no way to catch.
Oh man, and Hera, even we missed it. 2 villagers dead on the stone at the same time.
Wow.
So he had Eagles on the stone, and then archers on the wood line, and then Eagles on the gold, and he will indeed escape. This should be the dream start for Velez. I'll say what I said at the start when Viper deleted his range. Got to be one of those games that you win here, especially when this group is so tightly contested. With you coming in with 5 wins, Sato having 5 wins, Tato having 6 wins. It would be really poor result for Velez, who made the finals last time, to not at least make the playoffs, you know?
Absolutely. Yep. Eagles are currently running around as well now. But by the way, I did want to talk about this a little bit earlier, but Obich was an option. It's interesting to see that Viper went for crossbows instead of a knight transition. And even instead of Obich, I think that could have been an option. I'm not sure what you think about that, though.
My thought was that Viper recognized his economy would be behind, and if he went for the early castle, that he would just get outboomed. That was kind of my thought, but I do... If it was Arena, I'd think a bit differently. Obviously, this whole situation wouldn't come about. Viper's going to kill a monk on the left. That's actually a nice find. But
anything he can get at this point.
Like, I think... I don't know. I like it and I hate it. It's, at the end of the day, it's going to be a slow infantry unit. Yes, it's good against Eagles, but we've seen Velez be able to avoid so many armies from Viper already.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, maybe that is what Viper's going to have the shift towards here, because he really doesn't have the eco for much, and he is going to have a castle, so it might be your best option.
Yeah, and something to note about Velez as well is that he's controlling the game, but he's almost always, I don't know if you feel this way as well, but almost always he's going 3TC. He is the most consistent player when it comes to getting those town centers up. He plays the basics. He doesn't do anything crazy. He's not going to all in it. He knows he's ahead, going to control the game and develop his economy here, and I'd love to see that. He's also got multiple groups of Eagles right now just running around and making it super difficult for Viper.
Yeah, also, you know, has 1 relic, but could easily get maybe like 4 of them, which is huge with the Aztecs, and just seems really calm right now. And even getting arson.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
I mean, watch him break through this palisade in the last second because he has arson on the right. Oh man, sad.
Viper's there. Maybe the house? Okay, no, Viper's got it. But yeah, I mean, arson. I mean, listen, it's a tech that scales into late game, I suppose. So it's not the worst. It's pretty cheap.
Yeah, it's just another thing that he's doing to keep Viper under pressure, and even if he's not killing something from Viper, he's making sure Viper has to react. If Viper doesn't have army at home, Viper's going to pay for it right now, and that's what you want when you have a lead over someone like Viper. And thinking back to the Sebastian Viper game, which everyone should probably watch, it might be frustrating to an extent, but like Sebastian he sat back at one point in Imp, and then a couple of things started to unravel for him. We talk about like poles and if they're left untouched, how good they can be, and Velez is not allowing it. Eagles now into the woodline for Viper, losing his 10th villager now, or close to it anyways. Just pressure here.
And Velez isn't losing much for this pressure. Look at that. He literally ran deep, and then got out, lost 0 Eagles. And all those, he can heal them up if he so chooses to. So he's getting value for almost free here. And okay, this is a big turning point. Viper is getting Solacha privileges, but Velez is looking towards Imperial Age here with maybe a castle in the center. So one player is going Imp, and one player is going all in castle. And this is where the game could get interesting.
I just love it. He runs back to the woodline again. Viper is there with crossbows, but the crossbows haven't really been able to thwart these things yet, and just constant pressure. And yeah, Hera, as you mentioned, Imp feels like the right play. Stop Viper before he can have 50 knights queued up in Castle Age and get his eco stabilized. And I love the castle position and the eco balance, just everything for Velez. It just looks so crisp right now.
Yeah, that castle's nice. Although one thing I will say is it could backfire if he starts getting raided by knights.
Look on the left. Look on the left side. I just saw the knights coming in, but then 3 wolves chasing Viper's skirmishers.
He's been collecting those all feudal age, and he finally has them.
Woo, woo, woo. It's the only way to counter Aztecs, apparently.
Also, there's that one hole to make the wolves somewhat worth it, but actually the wolves are still on Viper. Velez helps him out though.
Yeah,
counts that are interesting.
Okay, well, a couple wolf kills happening there. Good to see some wolves get some action, but Imp is still on the way for Veleza. He's still got an Eagle Mass heading in towards Viper's base. He will obviously be able to defend from the tiny wolf skirmisher force. And Viper's got 5 knights. That's not enough knights to fight all this back.
Ooh, conversion right away as well, and now the knights are... Yeah, the knights are weak. It's just this first wave at least. Not. Oh my!
Wow, that's
perfect
so good.
Play from Velez. So good, so good.
He's playing incredible right now, dude.
He's also raiding on the top with the Eagles. That's crazy.
Like his first series looked rough, but he had taken a 3-week break from Age of Empires 2, and then ever since he's just been looking better and better and better. This is as clean as you could really ask for.
And the crazy thing is, I'm pretty sure Velez is like literally studying like in university in his real life. So he's balancing a lot, and to show this form against a full timer, it's pretty impressive here. So
yeah,
something to think about here when you're thinking about these players. Not all of them are investing the same amount of time here. So Velez is really putting in a clinic here.
Seriously, yeah. I mean, he's got 98 villagers. He's going to be able to make traps. Honestly, we might see Viper just call the GG because Viper doesn't have a force, really. Like, he's got less than 10 knights still, and he knows the castle's up. He knows he'll probably lose in front of his position. This is just bad for the Viper.
Yeah, and GG's called. Because keep in mind, Viper was all in Castle Age, which sounds stupid to say when you only see a few knights, but he was heavily committed there, and his economy just never really took off. And that's the danger with Poles in comparison to Aztecs. Aztecs get by with very little economy. They have a really strong early game. Poles need their time, and that's why we typically see Poles shine more on closed maps like Arena and Hideouts. Riskier pick on Arabia, and in this case, doesn't pay off at all here.
Yeah. Now, there is a very, very, very small chance, because this is Viper's final round, and this would not be Velez's final round. There's a small chance that Viper might not even get first in the group, right? Like, now we look at that, and if Viper continues to delete his archer ranges in the upcoming games, and Velez at 3-0s here, then Velez is going to be tied with Viper, I think, with 10 wins or something like that. So, obviously, Viper's going to need to turn it around. You would expect him to. That was just, like, very clear. I know that it's, like, kind of a meme, but that was honestly the clearest first game of the day thing I've ever seen from Viper. Deleting the entire archer range, like, just brutal. And actually, not only that, but he still tried to go for the ambitious trap, but also failed that when he was already in a stabilized position. So,
yeah, I was just gonna say, then lost the Ville right after that. Like, there was just so many things going wrong in that short amount of time.
Yeah,
and it just completely snowballed out of control.
Okay, so we're game number 2 for full. Like, if people are like, "Where'd Hera go?" His internet apparently disconnected. He might end up joining us midway here to cast this game. Viper's gone for his favorite Portuguese here on Arena. And again, like, there is absolutely a world. Like, if Viper gets sweeped here, again, that's the end of Titans League group stage for him. He might not end up getting first if Veleza or Sato or, other players in Group D end up getting some really nice results. But yeah, Portuguese for Viper. He's using the new Portuguese bonus where you receive wood when you take berries. So he's gone for a more unique build.
Okay, I'm going to get back to it.
There you go. I can hear you, Hera.
Hello. Yeah, sorry about that.
All good, all good. Do you need me to wait? I don't know if you're in the game or whatever, but we can catch up. It's Arena.
Yeah, I'm just loading in. You can feel free to do some intros or whatnot, talk to the civs. I'm coming in soon.
Okay, cool. Take your time. So, but yeah, I was just talking about Viper's little build. He's gone for the Portuguese. Hera and I were having a conversation on which civs are best where, and we were talking a bit about the Bohemians, but, Portuguese, I think where they are shining the strongest right now, and this is also the most entertaining, is their YOLO plays. And I think it was actually in another event recently where Hera had Burgundians and Viper had Portuguese, and
Yep.
Viper went for tons of organs. So maybe that's where Viper's going to go here. I don't know.
I'm not even sure if that strategy is like really good or just good when you don't expect it. I'm not 100% sold that it's a meta strat or it's like a works every time strategy, but it's definitely powerful. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, so I don't know if you knew this, but I played in Titans League Silver, right? And it was best of 3. I died to gunpowder in both games, and I still am so upset from it. Game 1 was Golden Swamp. I went Britons, right? Good civ on Golden Swamp, right?
Yeah.
Play the water, sheep bonus, whatever. Opponent went Fast Castle Organ Guns, and I killed 3 villagers with like Man at Arm Archer switch with a fish boom, but then everything died to organs. Everything. And then game 2 was this matchup on Fortified Clearing, and he went like full on 1 TC with Turks, Janissaries, full pressure, monks, fast imp, and I had 50 more vills, but I just couldn't kill like 25 Janissaries and a bunch of monks. So I think that like all-in gunpowder just can kill anything if you get the time window right, and I think that's kind of what makes it tricky. Like a player like me, maybe a player like you, you're actually doing a lot of crazy all-ins these days. Maybe we feel like we need more eco, and then we don't get the timings right with the all-ins. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it is that sometimes when your opponent goes off like the meta and he, instead of, just going up to imp, he tries to push you with, cast age stuff. You have to think outside the box, and stuff like guard tower, stuff like defensive castles just have to come out from you. And it's the kind of thing, it's difficult to make the right decisions, especially in the real time game, I suppose. But just buying yourself some time or doing things a little differently might be the key. But if you mistime it or if you underreact, you just get rolled, and it's not even close sometimes.
Yeah, and it's almost easier in the sense that if you're the player going all in, you don't really switch into anything else. It's like, this is my strat. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not trying to discredit the strategy, but that's kind of the outlook. Whereas playing the more standard approach, which Velez will likely do here, then you have to be more creative at times.
Yep.
So
absolutely. And the thing is, the guy who's doing the rush or like the big push, he's tried it versus the standard stuff before, and he probably realized it works, and that's why he's going to try it again here.
Yeah.
That's what you can expect. So yeah, going up against those rushes is always annoying. By the way, I want to talk about it real quick. Viper went mill first on Arena, I believe, and that's just such a good thing with Portuguese. It's the reason why this rush actually works these days.
So we play each other on Saturday in this mono civ tournament. Do you know what civilization I have?
You have Portuguese.
Yeah, so I think that I'm not going to talk about any build orders or any preferences on how Viper should be playing Portuguese.
Maybe you can try to bait me. What are the Portuguese bad matchups? Kind of think of some counter strategies and be prepared for that. But,
I've ruined my chance. Fun. I should have been like, Hera, have you seen the 4 monastery build with Portuguese?
You just talk it up all stream.
Yeah, and then I make 4 monasteries at the start, and then I just delete them all after you scout them, and full boom, easy. Because that can happen. Oh man. All right, well, barracks for Velez here, and this is going to be stable, and then Viper is definitely going for the castle drop, but it seems like it'll be a castle at home. I also think I might have lost Hera again. But it's good. We get bits and pieces of Hera insight, but we don't want too much. It could overwhelm us. I also I've had internet issues before that have bothered me greatly. And I imagine it's very frustrating for Hera at the moment. So he'll be back. I'm going to keep myself muted. Oh, shoot. We have a scout engagement. I was trying to fix my color of my chat. This would be so good for Viper if he could kill this. And, actually, Velez didn't get a hit there. But I think Velez is going to actually be able to make it into his base. Yeah, should be able to. The gate should close. Gates open. Run through. Just kidding. Gates closed. Okay. Guys, 1 second. Why is my chat always going to blue? It's kind of annoying. I thought I could fix that. No? Everybody say your favorite color. And don't say blue. That should be fine, right? Anyways, wood upgrade coming in already for Velez. And farm upgrade, it might be something he rushes in as well. I've seen a lot of players not get that farming upgrade till later, sorry. Okay, cool. Color's good. Thank you. The difference between, and I guess I can say this now because Hera can't hear me, is if I have any chance of beating the guy. But the difference between Viper's build here and the build we've seen from Draken and other people is that it actually has eco behind it. The other plays were so all in that they didn't have eco upgrades, and it had to work all the time. You couldn't really switch into anything else. And, you know, also, Viper, because he's so late... Oh, man. Oh, geez. This is going to be annoying. Okay, interesting moment. Viper doesn't have a loom. Scout's now in and stuck in here forever. But Viper's Scout is weak. And Viper saves the villager! But you're going to have to save more here, Viper, I think. Oh, God. Oh, my... Dude, just... Bro... It's not fair. It's not fair. Stop doing that. It's not cool, bro. It's not even fun anymore. You're just so freaking good. Anyways. Viper could have lost 2 villagers there with no loom. And he's now completely fine. He's going to drop his castle. But I think the key that I wanted to mention before Viper just played like an absolute beast there is that you could probably get like 2 relics, maybe even 3 before Viper has organ guns out in the map. Okay, so now obviously this scout could still kill villagers. Viper's got loom now, so it's unlikely that'll happen. Unless there's weak ones, of course. And there are actually weak ones on the castle right now. But nice creative play from Velez to come in. I think if you were to ask him, though, he would have probably preferred to have that light cap out. And he's going to go Monastery. And Monastery is going to be... The second Monastery tells me that he wants to actually go for Redemption to convert these organ guns. So it's about 480 gold for Redemption. And then with 480 gold, you can then convert the organs. Organs still in mass can kill monks pretty easily. Viper getting attacked here. And round 3. Doesn't get it. Velez kills the villager. Well played, Velez. Light cab upgrade made the difference. And Viper pulled more off of stone there. But he didn't keep the 3 villagers there. There's the organ gun. There's also monks from Viper. And this is where that pressure starts to come in. And I was apparently very wrong on my thought of the timing here. And I guess Velez is distracted. But it feels like he still could have had 2 relics by now. But maybe he doesn't want to go for the far ones yet. What is he doing? Hello? Okay, well, he went for the far one. I meant to say maybe he doesn't want to go for the close ones yet. Sorry, I misspoke. But that could have been a relic brought in. This relic will probably come in. Viper not looking too shabby here. There is actually a hole by Viper's castle, yes. But honestly, at this point, you don't want to get anywhere near that castle if you're Velez, so... Been a lot of talk about organ guns, guys. Are they OP? I personally think that if the Portuguese keep the wood bonus from the berries, that the organ guns might need a teensy little bit of a nerf. It's a crazy play. Not sure what exactly I'd have to really brainstorm on what I think would be right. Maybe I'll make a video on it. But maybe that's not on the cards, you know? It's just going to be organ guns, organ guns, organ guns. The rest of time, Viper just massing these things, trying to break through the walls. Now, important moments here for Velez. And he's had to spend so much gold on monks. Let's see. Is Hera secretly listening? No. I think I'm muted. Let me double check, though. I never... Okay, he just responded to me. I just accidentally sent him a winky face in my message, and it seems so awkward. Winky face is not for me, man. I corrected it. So yeah, Hera's not going to be able to see out the rest of the cast, unfortunately, everybody. But now Redemption's in. So you've got 54 villagers versus 38. And so, you know, suddenly, Viper's push kind of dead in the water. And Velez's got a lot more economy. So Viper's going to have to aim to use the faster Imperial Age to have some success here. That said, he will get 4 relics. All right. Don't wink at me, chat. All right. Now, this is a little risky because I think Viper knows his opponent has Redemption now. So I'm not sure if you realistically want to be out here. This Light Cav is a boss, by the way. He still, though, can so easily kill the monks. And wow, okay, I thought he was shooting the gate. See, look, you can get in close. And yeah, you just invested into Redemption, sure. But are you going to really convert them into Organ Guns? Oh, the monks got moves. The monks got moves here. Did you see that? Actually, those conversions were really nice, weren't they? He got the conversions. He didn't lose all of his monks. Guys, if Viper gets swept, again, he's got no more games after this in Titans League. He just lost another Organ Gun to a conversion. What? If Viper gets swept and then Velez 2-1 Sito, or if Sito like has a good result against, I think it's Sito. No. Velez plays Sebastian. Velez plays Sebastian, which is the player who's worst in the group right now. And he also is just playing for pride. He's definitely relegated at this point. Viper could honestly not get first place. What in the world? Now, of course, it's 68 villagers versus 40. Viper's going to be an imp, though, so there could be a difference for him there. Looks like that move is going to be for a castle drop. Vipey just needs Atonement Monks. Well, Organ Guns are expensive. You would need multiple monasteries. You then need more monks. He's the thing about the Organ Guns is, yes, the all-ins are strong, man. But it's costly to get there. And the Burgundians have been working off this crazy economy this whole time. When you're lower eco, though, you need the forward castle plays to work. And the guys, Doubt's not in this group, but we might see him. Look at the micro from Velez. Oh, my goodness. Viper can't try and... No. I don't think you could try and do this. You're going to donate to Organ Guns and the monks. Okay, they all died. Never mind. False alarm. A couple things got converted, but all the monks have died. Viper's castle will go up, just as we all expected. And first thing Viper needs to do, I think, is a Treb. Will Viper add a Fatoria? You need 250 gold, 250 stone for a Fatoria. It doesn't really have the res for that. Oh my god, that's just like peak YouTube clickbait. If this individual game goes to YouTube, Viper becomes an organ donor. Oh, who said that? 404 strat not found. Oh man, I need to hire you. Forget about all-in organ guns from the Viper. No, we need to get like an ID card, right? Like a Norwegian ID card, and it needs to be like Viper, organ donor. Oh, I love it. So he's got a Treb and 6 organs. And while Velez has the ability to convert these organ guns, excuse me, he's only on this gold, and monks cost a lot of gold, right? I do like this. He's going to run over here and just grab that one relic. And I do love his castle position, because building that castle there means that Viper's Trebuchet isn't getting that much value. Viper wants to drop another castle. Oh my goodness. And this will likely go up. And this means that the monks can't really Wololo against the organ guns. Say what you want about the eco difference and say what you want about the strat, but Viper's committed to it. Fully committed towards this strategy. Doesn't have much on food at all, so don't get excited about light cav. This is an all-in play. He's hoping that he doesn't need food and that he can just push Velez back forever. Viper is about to be a villager donor as well, not just an organ donor. I guess technically these villagers do have organs. And castle's going to go up. All these monks need to run now. Run away, monks, run away. Okay, but this is where it gets so interesting. So these Trebs can sit here and they can Treb freely this direction. They cannot be converted unless a monk walks right up to them, unlike the organ gun. So the organs, actually, I think Viper should stop making them, and any wood he does get should go into either his own monks or just Trebs or farms, because he needs more food to, and then maybe light cav could be possible. He actually needs to shoot this monastery down. This monastery in his house is in his way. He's trying to use his own Trebs as the weaponry here. And there is a Fatoria for the snake, so that will bring him more food than possibly farms could do for him. So But Viper needs to repair this. He just spent stone on the Fatoria. He's not actually trebbing down the trebs. Maybe because he couldn't. But it does feel like the Fatoria maybe is just not going to pay off in time here for Viper. And he's going to have to back up here. Which clearly he recognizes. He's packing up the trebs already. We'll roll back to this castle. He's took a lot of Velez's gold there. Velez has just got one relic back here, and he's almost out of gold. 81 population is what it says here, but realistically, Viper's got 20 less than that. As he even goes for Bodcanero. And we have Cavalier now on the way for Veleza, so he's going to have a bit. I really do think Viper having his own monks would be super beneficial here. Having, like, 10 of your own monks with block printing, and you can actually engage against all this. Obviously, you have to work very hard to convert all the monks, and look at this. Velez is just making a mining camp here already. Viper's still not repairing the castle. There's bombard cannons from Veleza, who researched chemistry a long time ago. And Viper's going to lose his trebuchets. Viper's going to lose map control. He cannot win this game. It's such a stomp from Veleza here against Viper. I can't even clickbait it with the organ donor thing. We have to save that for another time. You've got 4 relics. That's what you can get excited about. But 94 eco versus 47? Fatorias, not only do they cost resources, but I don't think they bring in resources fast enough to make up for that type of deficit. Also, I wonder if maybe Burgundian Vineyards gets researched right now. It's a crazy tech. I mean, Burgundians are banned all the time or picked first for a reason. They're just insane civ with closed maps. But, like, Burgundian Vineyards, maybe not worth it when you have 28 farms, but if you get up to, like, 50 farms, then maybe it feels like you have almost an immediate payoff. You bring in gold income from your farms, if that's the case. Viper had Bengalis, opted against the Bengalis. And again, in terms of the whole series, he chose Poles first, played them on Arabia, which I think is a little questionable. And then he chose Japanese second. We've yet to see that. Kilimanjaro is going to be the final map. Also, Veleza getting all these wins is also really bad for Viper's teammate, Tato. Like, Group D is just in a nuts situation right now if Veleza continues this form. Castles, stables, already has Cavalier. Castle down for Viper. This is just so far behind economically. Which is why, by the way, the all-inning with organs, when you see it work, like players like Draken, who've done it in Platinum League, and Ganji, it's like so much faster. It's low eco and all-in and faster because your eco's already going to be worse. That's at least the way I see it. I don't know. Yeah, and then, of course, Burgundians also have Flemish Revolution, which don't even get me started on that. I don't think it's needed here. Velez is just taking his time. Pushing back the Viper. Beat the Viper in the first game. Okay, here's Viper now. He's got some light cav. He got his eco to a stage where he could make some light cav. Let's see what happens. We actually have monks going in for the organs. A lot of these monks, if not all the monks, are going to die. Bomber cannons could die as well, so some breathing room for the Viper. Continuing his organ donor status. But now the light cav are gone. Bomber cannons are still alive. And Viper loses that game. Dang. Dang, man. Crazy. Veleza. Up 2-0 here. It is a play all 3. And I'm going to just quickly show this. But before the next game starts, what I'm going to do is I want to look at the results and the situation in the groups. Because that's what's exciting about this whole league format. Veleza just outboomed him. The Redemption Monk play from Veleza was super good. He had some awesome micro movements in that game where the organ guns were patrolled and on attack, and he's moving monks and light cav side to side to distract them while he's converting them. It made it look so easy. And that alone, obviously, is not just the impressive thing, but also the economy he had with it. Can we reflect on the fact we're already counting Tato out? I don't think anyone's counting Tato out. But we know the odds are in Tato's favor. And the odds right now for Viper have shifted here, guys. We've had some crazy, crazy upsets in Titans League. Let me just review some of them. We had Draken 3-0ing MBL. Ganji 3-0ing Capoch. What else was extremely surprising? Those are the first two that come to mind. I think, Draken beating MBL is probably the biggest upset thus far. Velez beating Viper 3-0 wouldn't be considered as crazy an upset possibly because Velez has been in that top 10 for a long time. He's beaten Viper before. In fact, he beat Viper 4-2 in the semifinals of Titans League Season 1. How easy it is for us to forget. But Velez, if he wins this, he just needs a 2-1 then in his final series against Sebastian, who's the weakest player in this group, to then surpass Viper in the standings, which is crazy enough. But what else is crazy is that Sato also, he's going to play 2 rounds here this week to finish off Titans League, which means he would have a chance to surpass Viper. And I guarantee you, like, if Viper goes to second, whoever's going to be in third place playing him in the playoffs will be absolutely pissed. Or if Viper even drops to third and then he's got to play someone second, he's going to be absolutely pissed. Viper will probably be upset with himself. Because why would you not want that bye to just move on directly to the quarterfinal? So he's gone for Japanese. And I just said that I think the Japanese are very flexible, which can be helpful in this map. So you have the cheap mill, boom, taking the shorefish. You have the cheap lumber camp, boom, taking the wood. You could also use that cheap mill to place here, too, on the berries. So the potential is there for a really tight uptime, a really fancy build order here for the Viper. And for the Tatars, obviously this is a map that's kind of dominated by hills. Looks like we have a pause. But yeah, you have elevation at play, and Tatars do more damage when fighting on top of the hills. And then you have more food on top of, or on the sheep, excuse me, which is another big bonus for the Tatars here. So yeah, we continue here. Do you think this is Viper not taking this super seriously, or is he underperforming, question mark? Underperforming for sure. I think the draft was a little bit of variety to test some things out because he feels pretty comfortable he's going to move on to the playoffs anyways, and he will. But like game 1, he deleted an archer range, right? And I watched a lot of Viper content. Been good friends with the guy for a long time. Obviously, he made the platform switch to support the guy as much as I can. As you know, that's what I would hope people would do for me, right? And the dude's been playing a lot of Age of Empires the last couple days. Like there's Titans League, which is this crazy S tier event, and he's got all these different things. Like he had like a 9.5 hour day 2 days ago, and then like a 7 hour day yesterday. Could be exhaustion too. I don't really know. But Velez just looks so clean. Like Velez looks like the player that we saw get second place in Titans League Season 1. And he's just been getting better and better here in Titans League. When compared to, his first round, which he had lost. This guy looks clean and sharp, and he finds the Viper now. And Viper's now moving out to find Velez. And that's the challenge with a league format is your peak level matters in the playoffs. But overall, the most important thing is always consistency. And where's this Vil going? What is this Vil doing out here? And Viper spotted him. He's just hiding in the wood line. Viper's like, where did the villager go? He sees it. Kind of feels like Velez wants to build military buildings here on the hill. I honestly think there was a slight chance that Velez wanted to go full wall and sneak military into the back of Viper's base. But maybe, actually, he is walling a lot, so maybe he just wanted to wall this. Yeah, I think that's maybe what he was doing. Really terrified that Viper could be aggressive here with Man-at-Arms. Viper's not doing that. Viper's actually just going to go for scout opening, it looks like. And I think Velez will know that the Tatars feel stronger in the long run in this matchup. I actually don't think it's the worst matchup for Japanese. I think where Japanese can struggle is against civilizations that get Arbalest and Bombard Cannon. Because Japanese don't have any crazy eco bonuses in the mid-game. But Tatars, if they go cavalry, Japanese have a lot of infantry to counter that. And then if they go for archers, they're going to have to eventually switch into cav archers, which can be an awkward transition later. So, Thanks for the salmon tips, Eric. Appreciate it. Means a lot. I grill my salmon or I do salmon in the oven. Honestly, I haven't experimented as much as I really should with salmon. I don't have it that much because my woman's a marine biologist, and so she deals with dead like fish all the time, and so she doesn't really like the smell of fish, which is kind of sad. But I have it on occasion. Totally understand not wanting to be around more dead fish. Viper's got a scout, and I think Velez wants to know if there's a stable, and now he's like, oh, okay. Looks like he's going for scouts. And, will be Spearman Archer. I think Viper, did he verify this? He doesn't know. He's also checking, and now he knows. And he wasn't able to take out Velez's scout. So Velez just sitting behind walls. Overall, I think this is a fine position for both players to be in. It will ultimately depend on the economies as well. But I think if you have 2 Spearmen, 2 Archer, you make Viper's life so difficult right now. Viper has to add an archery range to get a skirmisher or 2 out for that at the very least. But it's the safe play for Viper to try that instead of trying to engage against the Spearmen and the Archers. Now, if these things were on their own, if it was just these 2 and then these 2, kind of like this, if Viper had 4 scouts, he actually could engage against just this. But when they're together that it's a problem. And that was a nice hit there from Velez. So is Viper not guaranteed to make it to the next stage anymore? He's guaranteed to make it to the next stage. I believe it's like 97% chance that he still moves on to the next stage. But it's not a guarantee that he wins his group. If he gets 3-0'd here. And I think in the event that he gets 2-1 and Velez 3-0's the final series, Viper also might not move on immediately to the quarterfinals. He might not get that bye. So it makes it really interesting. Consistency's needed, obviously. Velez is usually Mr. Consistent when he plays. And it just feels like he's had to work. Apart from getting the walls down, he hasn't had to work as hard as Viper here, you know? He's just hanging out, just chilling. Viper's had to make the scouts. Now it's got to make some skirms and archers. But truthfully, Viper's played this very well here. And a little bit of maybe unnecessary idle time here or there. But actually, they both have 3 minutes and 42 seconds of idle time overall. Look at that. That's crazy. Viper aims to kill the scout. Aims to attack the archers. Does lose the scout in the process. But now has some ranged units on the map. Be interested to see what the food count looks like for both players soon. Really interesting game. I think Velez is just so confident that once he starts to drop those TCs with the Tatars, and once Thumbring is free in Castle, just so many fun bonuses at play. He saves his scout and kills Viper's scout there. That's super well played. But I feel like he's confident in the matchup in that Castle Age. And Japanese really just don't shine brightly in the Castle Age. They don't really shine brightly at all in tournaments unless there's a lot of water involved. Okay. Viper is 100% to get into the next stage. It updated? Okay. Yeah, I believe that. But him dropping to second or third would still be pretty crazy when he was 10-1. Or no, 10-2, sorry, coming into the final round here. And it, again, could have massive ramifications on those future matchups as Velez takes some really good fights here. He's got more archers than Viper. He killed all of Viper's scouts. It's 7-3 KD right now. It's now 8-4. And it's going to end up being 9-4 and now 10-4. Dang. The Velez added a stable. He was thinking Viper would go for heavier into skirms. He was going to add scouts. I really don't think at this stage he's going to feel the need to do that. And he's just trying to farm away right now. Hi, thank you, Matt, by the way, for the sub. Appreciate that. Sorry, I didn't give the shout out a little bit earlier. And Samurai and Towers. Honestly, I think Japanese Towers, I know you just never see it at competitive play for a lot of different reasons, but on a map where wood is so difficult to control and where there's so many extra little stones and golds in random spots, I could see guard tower defense or guard tower offense happening at some stage in this game. But I think you're going to have control over the map. Because if you just start dropping towers and you have no army, you can't realistically just boom behind towers in this map. They're going to find other spots to hit you. And Tatar Trebs are no joke. I have bad memories with Tatar Trebs from a co-op challenge where I had to kill a unit with a trebuchet. I'm pretty sure it was a game bug, but Tatar Trebs, they bother me. But yeah, we might see the crazy range trebuchets too. Nice macro here from Viper, despite losing some units. And a little bit more idle TC time. Is able to use the flexibility of a Civ like we said. Now we might see a scout queued up here for Velez. And archers are going to run away now. And he just wants to click up to Castle Age, which Viper has also done. Look at Viper spam the attack move there. You see how the units continue to fire and like move in like that? That is attack move. Non-stop, actually. I've still been experimenting a little bit with ranged unit micro. It feels like focus fire micro is still the superior way, if you can do it. But, like, you got to do a million things in this game, so the attack move still is very strong. A lot of players patrol as well. This might not mean as much to you guys. There was a time where attack move would actually give your units a speed boost, and it was just dominating the game, and they changed that. I made a video on it, and they changed it like 4 weeks after, but I think they were already kind of like... I think they were already on to it. We're going to see Step Lancers here for Velez. Notice he thought about sneaking out. He deleted the Palisade and started to send his archers out, and then thought better of it. The Viper's going to be on Crossbowman, and Viper's resources looking really good. 3 ranges. We might even see a Cav Archer follow-up. Japanese do get full upgrades on Cav Archers. They just don't get any free upgrades, like Thumb Ring being for free for Tatars. And they don't have any really unique techs that apply to them like the Tatars would as well. Crossbow Bodkin. I'd be surprised with Cav Archer. It's really expensive. In fact, I'm even a little surprised with the 3rd range for Viper, but it is a map where you need map control, and it is a situation where Viper needs to get this win. And, well, his eco is going to be looking fine. Here he is with the aggression. He's going to have Velez on the back foot. We haven't said that too frequently in this series. Though I guess in the previous game, Velez did fall back pretty far. Thank you, thanks, John, for the gifted subs there. Appreciate it. And, oh, I love this. This is going to be fun, guys. This is going to be really fun. So this is the classic counterattack and play defensive siege. You don't see this all the time. Really needs the wood for it right now, for that mangonel, and there it is. So Viper's going to see the villagers aren't there. He's going to see the siege workshop, and he's going to be like, uh-oh. Is he coming to my base? And normally what you want to do is you want to just drop a TC somewhere you're vulnerable right now if you're in Viper's position. I actually really like what Viper's done. He's sending a skirm in to take a look at things, and he's just going to leave, expecting the ranged army to sneak in here, and he will have ballistics, guys. Had Viper gone in, he could have lost his whole army, and then he might not have the army mass. But he's going to maintain the army mass. Again, he's really uncertain on where that attack's going to come in. And it's going to come in on this side, which he can now see because the outpost that was placed earlier. And so Viper should be in a position to maybe attack this. Velez is just going to destroy the outpost, which I don't mind. Puts Viper in the dark. Yes, it does let Viper know that you are here. But he was going to know anyways. Most likely there's no way to get in. There was no hole. Now, Viper knows his opponent went siege, right? So very rarely are you going to be able to also have ballistics here because that requires a university. University is pretty much the same price, or it is the same price as the siege workshop. So Velez chose siege, Viper chose university, and now Viper has ballistics instead of a mangonel, and Viper has been mopping up with some really sick micro. He's dodging the shots nicely. He killed some knights in the middle of the map. The siege is still on its way. And what is this? Why is there a TC over here? Velez, what's happening? Why is there TC going up over there of all places? Holy crap, you could have gone here. He's going to do it now, but he's just lost 3 villagers. And Viper is... This is the Viper we expected to see today. He is playing super clean right now. And, you know, it went from deleting his range in the first game to 3 ranges in the second game to make up for it, right? And again, his micro's good. Like, he doesn't even need to... You got to realize, guys, you could just let your army sit there and you can win those fights. You don't even need to be that nerdy, but if you can do it, you should do it because you can maximize value, and he's gotten some crazy value here in this game. Was it the scouting for Velez? Yeah, I feel like if maybe he scouted this area, he would have gone for the sneak TC there. He seemed to be very late to scouting this, too. So that probably played its role in why he decided to go all the way over there for that gold. It was just the lack of scouting. Viper scouting isn't really that good in the long run either. But, I mean, he's going to probably use some leftover skirmish for that. And his army is just insane right now. And he sees the Mangonel, and he knows what that means. And it's going to be Knight Mangonel here for Velez. But it's going to be kind of difficult for him to afford a ton of Knights. Viper split micro. The Knights do have armor. Viper saw that one was weak, though, and he might put on a clinic here with the micro, guys. Avoid the Mangonel and shoot the Knights. That's the plan. Okay, hits the Knights. Still dodging, still dodging. Still got another army going this way to surprise Velez. This map is just as big as other maps in this tournament. It's just that the players are very far apart, so it makes it seem like the map is bigger because they have to travel longer distances. And Velez knows... He gets hit here. He's about to lose a couple of villagers, but he feels right now that he can't afford to make enough Knights and that his siege is going to go down. And Viper gets a very important victory there near the tail end of this stage. 2-1 for Velez is very good for him. Viper now ends the group stage in Group D with 11 wins and 4 losses. Not horrible, obviously. Still very, very good. I think now... first, let's show the statistics. But again, the exciting thing about Titans League is the results in the group stage. So we got to look at that. There's Viper. Great job. Really clean play from him. Really liked how he dealt with Velez after Velez played so safe and walled up. But let's look. Liquipedia might not update instantly. Let's see. Okay, it did. So Viper's finished. He played his 15 games. Velez has one more round against Sebastian. So Velez cannot surpass Viper. Sato could tie Viper. And then Tato cannot surpass Viper. So Tato's got one more round. Velez has got one more round. Sato has 2. So let's think about this. So if Sato goes 3-0, 3-0, who's he 3-0ing? First off, he's 3-0ing Tato. So that relegates Tato. Wait, no, that doesn't relegate Tato. That could relegate Tato, depending on how Barrels does. It's crazy. But okay, forgetting Tato. So if he gets 6 wins, he's then 4-1 with sets played. He then is tied with Viper with the amount of wins. The first tiebreak is... So obviously the first thing that matters is games won. The second tiebreak is sets won, where they'd be tied. Third tiebreak is head-to-head, where Viper won. Okay, so I think Tato, I could be wrong. I believe Tato is actually, Viper, I'm so sorry. I think Viper is confirmed to be first in Group D still. But had he lost that final game, then anything could have happened. So, good stuff from Viper. Obviously, we'll see more from Velez. Again, he will be playing in a few days up against Sebastian.